been engraved, so it's ready to be handed to the winner, Simon Yates. But before that, we have the stage victory and all the other jerseys.
Trophy handed over, ready to go. It's been engraved. The name is there. And the Giro d'Italia does love, quite rightly, its ceremony, its traditions that are being written year on year as well. The third year now in a row that we've come back to Rome, writing another chapter in the storied history of this race. Every single edition tells a different story. No one is the same as the last. Even this year, the finishing line in Rome has been moved to the top of the hill in the finishing circuit. And a new name appears on the trophy. A first-time winner, but not a first-time competitor. Simon Yates has bashed his head against the door of the Giro d'Italia so many times in the past. Bucking the trend of increasingly young Grand Tour winners. The race was very nearly won by a 21-year-old, but in the end, it was a 32-year-old who got the victory.
Yeah, it was, I mean, as part of the, it's refreshing to see that also old riders in the peloton, because, yeah, in the peloton, in life, is all ahead of him for Simon Yates, but it's good to see Simon Yates so winning this Giro, and as well as Richard Carapaz was also very active.
I tell you what, they just put Yates there, didn't they? They didn't put S. Yates. So Adam could just pinch it and take it to his house.
Oh, there could be a nice plot twist in the next month. So now we're going to go with the ceremony for the stage winner of this last stage in Rome. And it's this man.
Vincenzo Nibali was being announced onto the podium. Last time we spotted him, he was in the car wearing a tie. Has he taken it off because it's been 35 degrees today? No, he's still wearing the tie.
Today he opted for light mint sage, I would say. Is that correct? Or sage. Sage.
The colour, yeah.
Yeah, I pronounce it in French.
Sage, yeah, sage.
I love it.
Could have put a pair of shoes on though, couldn't he? Olaf Koy though. 23 years of age, the Dutchman. He's been around for a good few years at the highest level at this race as well. Road to victory for the first time at the Giro last year on the iconic Napoli stage. This year he's taken 2 stage victories. This one matters just that little bit more though, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah, and 41 victory for the young Dutchman.
It's a big number, isn't it?
Yeah, for soon to be 24th years of age. It's quite something. He has a long career ahead of him, the Dutchman. And I mean, sometimes we talk about riders who reached 100 as a number. For him, he's almost halfway in just 4 years professional.
You're absolutely right. I hadn't noticed that. 41 wins for Olaf Koy at the age of 23. That's exceptional. Is he in the very, very top bracket of sprinters, along with Tim Malia, Jasper Philipsen and Jonathan Milan? Probably. And if he isn't, he's not far off. As he has just proven by out-sprinting Mads Pedersen, Caden Groves, Matteo Moschetti, Max Canter, and the rest of them to take victory here in Rome. He's already got a beer backstage, but he's now mixing his drinks.
Amazing victory for the delight of Olaf Koy. Bismaliza bike. He's gonna go home with another nice ticket, a train. Just a couple of trips to spend. And this is the first of the many, many champagne popping we're gonna witness in the next minutes. Back with the top 10 of today's stage. Once again, Olaf Koy, Grofs Moschetti, the podium of today's stage. It was a good sprint by Moschetti. He was probably not well positioned. He didn't benefit. There was Pitcock. I spotted him about 1.2, 1.3 kilometers to go, helping him. Now let's back on the ceremony with Maglia Bianca, the best young riders of this Giro d'Italia.
So we're moving through the jerseys now in effectively reverse order from the usual stage protocol, and we start therefore with the best young rider. And what a young rider we have here. Last year it was won by Antonio Tiberi. This year though, a new nation, a new talent announces itself on the global stage. Mexico wakes up to cycling, and they have a superstar in the making. Not just for the future, but for the here and now. Isaac del Toro is ready. He's here. He's winning already. A stage winner. A long time, 11 days in the Maglia Rosa before it all came unstuck. A vice-like grip on the white jersey competition where he vanquished absolutely everybody in his age category, and a second place finish. And along with it all, a wonderful, relaxed attitude of a young man who has enjoyed these 3 weeks, and he has made huge strides in his career and will take enormous confidence and pride out of these 3 weeks of racing, even if it's tinged with disappointment that he couldn't see it to the final finish line in Rome.
He's gonna soon be back on the podium. The young Mexican, Isaac del Toro. We've seen more and more relaxed in all the ceremonies. A big smile on his face, despite the second place. I think he's more than satisfied what he achieved in this Giro d'Italia.
So we move to the next jersey. Once we've seen, for the last time, Isaac del Toro hold aloft a bouquet. And we'll just
win. Now checking the classement for the young overall standings as Del Toro. Then Pellizzari, a very good ride by the Italian, and Max Poole. Back again on the stage. This is the Fortunato, the owner of this jersey. Since the very beginning, after 3-4 stages, he was already wearing the maglia blu. Amazing ride by the Italian.
Came here for a stage win, but I think in his back pocket he always had in mind the King of the Mountains competition and went out quite early on in the race to hunt for it actually and pick up King of the Mountains points. And often the riders in the first week who wear the jersey fade in the second and third week and they get completely swamped in terms of points. But one of the impressive facets of Fortunato's race is he didn't fade at all. If anything, he got stronger.
Yeah, he was already in the very first stage to Tirana. He was spotted sprinting for just a mere third category climb, and this is the indication how good he was feeling. He was able to gift a stage to Scaroni, the teammates of him, and but he goes on with the win as a winner of the climbers for the Italian. Previous winner of Zoncolan, another bouquet thrown. Again, the girlfriend is there to pick it up. See, popping the champagne properly.
Lovely backdrop as well in Rome, and special feature of the final stage is that the advertising backdrop of the podium gets removed, and instead we can cast our eye on the splendor of ancient Rome behind. So what a memory he'll take away from the Giro d'Italia. The King of the Mountains, Lorenzo Fortunato, likeable, talented, strong, clever. All those things apply. His nearest rival is teammate Christian Scaroni.
Almost double the point of Scaroni. And the third was 100 points. So imagine like the march he was leading this classement.
And for once, the general classification riders weren't near the top of the King of the Mountain standings, which, in my opinion, is a refreshing change.
Yeah, definitely. As we back on the Ciclamino for the best, in theory, sprinter. This time I went probably for the best all-rounder. This man with a lovely jersey from the press officer, Purple Rain. So that's what it was all about. Very lovely jersey. But Ciclamino for Mats Pedersen, winner of 4 stages. I think also the press officer was forced to color his hair and mustache to matches the jersey, or is just a no, that's the color of the hair. So he's forcing a lot of people changing haircut. First was Mosca, already in Tirana, where the maglia rosa in Albania, and the first stages in Italy, ever present in all stages. Mats Pedersen, what a ride by him. It was an amazing Giro d'Italia for the Danish champion.
A 10th Grand Tour for the former world champion, Mats Pedersen. But perhaps surprisingly, the first time he's ever won the points competition in any of those Grand Tours.
Yeah.
And it is surprising, isn't it? Because he has all the attributes to have done that before.
I think he came to you know, to be mature and mentally and physically strong enough in the recent 2-3 years, and a bit unlike in the recent Grand Tours, as he knows how to do with the trophy, definitely.
Yeah.
And he also looking forward to pop the champagne once again, 4th in a row on the podium.
This jersey was never really in doubt as Mats Pedersen spins round and finds the nearest fans and supporters who are held back a little bit by the barriers for safety reasons, and makes sure that the bouquet lands with the people rather than the officials. And the press. Yes, a lucky chap. Holding on to them, isn't he? He's not handing them on.
No. And there was already, if you spotted the flags, and that was written on the head, the Toro fans. So he has already a quite solid fan club, the Mexican. The Ciclamino to Pedersen, thanks to 4 amazing victories and a consistency all over the 3 weeks of racing. And that's the proof. Almost 300 points and 110 points ahead of Olaf Koy. And Wout van Aert, Dries de Bons and Isaac del Toro.
Bear in mind, Koy just picked up 50 points as well.
Yeah.
For the victory. All right, now we move to the big one, really. In reverse order, we're going to have the podium of the general classification in the 108th Giro d'Italia. A mixture of nations, a mixture of age and experience, backgrounds. And the first rider to be introduced, representing Ecuador and EF Education Easy Post, is the former winner in 2019 of the Giro outright. And that was a surprise victory back then when he was riding for Movistar. He wasn't their dedicated leader, but that was the moment that Richard Carapaz became a global superstar. He won the Olympic gold medal as well off the back of it. He finished repeatedly high up on Grand Tours, tried his damnedest to win this race, and that was the likeable thing about Carapaz. Came here with the only intention of trying to win and was prepared to risk losing second place, which is effectively exactly what happened to him on stage 20. But he has set the tone for the general classification race that was full of exciting attacking all the way to the end.
Yeah, he came home. He's going to go home with a 3rd place overall, stage victory. But more than everything, he found, well, we can say the old Carapaz, you know, always on the attack, without any fear, and was a fierce fight for the Maglia Rosa. And yesterday he had to give up any hopes of winning the classification, but I think he could be more than satisfied this race and how strong he was during the 3 weeks. It's going to be time for this man to jump on the 2nd spot on the podium. It was in a big clash. It seemed like, for a moment, the race was just between him and Richard Carapaz, as Del Toro wore the Maglia Rosa for 11th day. So giving up just yesterday on the 20th stage to Simon Yates. But I think looking in perspective, it was one hell of a ride by Isaac Del Toro, the Mexican.
Well, last autumn he raced his first Grand Tour, the winner of the Tour de l'Avenir 2 years ago, Isaac Del Toro. And aged just 20, he had a couple of top 10s, finished in 36th place in the general classification. And barely, 6-7 months later, he's at it again in Italy. And his meteoric rise means that he catapults himself up to a leadership role in the biggest, strongest team in the world of cycling at the moment, UAE Team Emirates, dispensing with the internal challenge of Juan Ayuso, who doesn't finish the race. Instead, Isaac del Toro does, and he's picked up second place in his first ever Giro. He doesn't turn 22 until November.
A lot of people behind his back, they all smile.
The Mexican fans are out there in force, and this is going to be a sight that we're going to have to grow accustomed to now. It's new in the world of cycling. Mexican fans haven't really featured, to be perfectly honest, at the biggest bike races in the world. Well, get used to it. They're here to stay now, and potentially for a very long time. Meantime, 11 years his senior, Simon Yates is waiting for the biggest moment in his long cycling career that dates back well over a decade.
Getting the Maglia Rosa, the very same climb that saw him being relegated and spoiled by Chris Froome 7 years ago. Simon Yates on the Colle dei Finestre built his success, and the Maglia Rosa.
It's official. Top step of the podium at the Giro. At the 6th time of asking. Half a dozen attempts at the Giro has Simon Yates to win the damn thing. He's come very close in the past. He's worn the Maglia Rosa day after day after day in 2018. He's won 6 stages at the Giro. Didn't win a stage, didn't have to in the end. This jersey matters more than anything in his long career. He'd swap the lots for this jersey, but he doesn't have to. He's won it by rights. And there's your podium. Carapaz, Del Toro and Simon Yates with a rather unusual trophy. Raises the flowers aloft alongside Carapaz and Del Toro. So there's your 1, 2, 3.
What a podium.
Five years have passed since that national anthem was played at the Giro d'Italia, since Theo Gegenhardt won in 2020. And a 32-year-old Simon Yates wins the Giro.
And here's going to be probably a good shower. Somebody swearing in the background.
This is not particularly coordinated from the podium. There we go. All 3 bottles now flowing. There's your podium. Simon Yates wins ahead of Isaac Del Toro and Richard Carapaz back in 3rd in the sunshine here in Rome.
And now the usual photo of the trio, the podium of this very Giro d'Italia. 3 champions in here: Simon Yates, Isaac Del Toro and Richard Carapaz. It was a fierce battle for 3 weeks and emerged Simon Yates as a winner.
But for sure, you'll look back at whenever the career of Isaac Del Toro comes to an end, many, many, many years hence, and you'll look at that picture and it will be a significant landmark, a significant milestone in the career of Isaac Del Toro, and just another notable achievement in the wonderful career of Richard Carapaz. And on we go, and now's the moment, I think, where the riders who finished in 2nd and 3rd place have to depart the scene. But Simon Yates, his work is not done on the podium, because this is the moment where the trophy will be passed over. As Isaac Del Toro meets and greets his new army of fans. Flag bearer for an entire cycling nation now. And the president of RCS and Mauro Vegni, the race director, makes his way onto the podium to hand over the trophy that has eluded Simon Yates for year after year after year. He comes to Italy almost every year, Simon Yates, and he's finally done it. A dream goes into fulfillment here in the capital city in Rome. The Trofeo Senza Fine belongs to Simon Yates at last. in one of the most extraordinary reversals in modern history of any Grand Tour, let alone just the Giro. Simon Yates waited until the last climb and moved from third to first in the general classification. And not just first by a whisker, first by a huge margin in the end.
And it's all delight for Simon Yates. As you said, sometimes very rational when it was time to speak, but you see the joy on his face. Glad we can witness this moment, and all delight for Simon Yates. Could quite believe it. And all the team now make their appearance on the stage. It's correctly being showered by Wout van Aert. Being properly covered with the champagne.
They've all played their part. Wilco Kelderman, who's worn that Maglia Rosa in the past. Steven Kruijswijk, who knows how close he came in 2016. General Manager Richard Pluger with a curious sartorial sense on the podium as well. And the lightest, smallest rider, thank heavens, of the entire Visma Lease bike rider is hoisted aloft by two of the strongest and the biggest. Affini and Van Aert doing their last domestique duties for Simon Yates and lifting the British rider aloft. Their new signing, Yates, new to the team, not new to winning Grand Tours, but it has been a long wait. Not in the colours of Visma Lease bike, though. He really didn't have to wait long. As once more, this time with the trophy, Visma Lease bike, and Simon Yates celebrates a genuinely famous victory. Some are bigger than others, and I think this one was. A Giro that will be talked about for many, many years to come.
This man, Wout van Aert, played a huge role into the victory of Simon Yates. The whole team supported him, so what an achievement for the Briton.
He'll be back on the podium fairly soon, but we're going to step away now from the Maglia Rosa, as he is called by the press to pose for yet more photographs. The name of Carapaz just appears there in 2019. And 2018, the victory of Chris Froome, in which, of course, Simon Yates was a massive protagonist. Wout van Aert enjoying soaking Simon Yates. It's good to see Wout van Aert smiling again. It's been a very difficult time for him since he crashed out of the Vuelta last year.
It's very happy, you can say that, right? Net, whole smile for Simon Yates, his wife.
He's a restrained man, isn't he? He's not given to great shows of emotion, but all his inhibitions and his usual guardedness at the moment are slipping away as he celebrates here in Rome. In his career, that I think he turned professional at 19 or 20.
Yeah, he was very young indeed. I think 20 when he turned pro. So he had a lot of years on in the background, and probably it was very cold in the approach of the stage of yesterday in Colle Finestre. That's probably the reason why he got away with an amazing stage victory. And it is the best team. Not quite enough to win in the stage, but they had an incredible display of strength over this last...
Simon Yates' brother Adam just stepping up onto the podium just to level himself out, because they're tall, all the riders who he finishes with as a super team, much taller than Adam Yates. So from left to right, Baroncini, Isaac Del Toro, Adam Yates, Brandon McNulty, Rafa Maika and Igor Arieta, the only 6 finishing riders from UAE Team Emirates who claim the super team competition, which is the general classification effectively. The best 3 riders on GC, their aggregate time beats all the others in the race. And a trophy to go with it.
It's always the Yates who has to pick up the trophy.
Isaac Del Toro is handed it. Adam Yates, though, in charge of coordinating the well, 6 bottles of champagne that are just going to make this podium almost ridiculously slippery for the many, many classifications and prizes still to come.
Or sticky. Baroncini had a very good Giro d'Italia so far. I think
Isaac Del Toro still struggling to get his bottle open.
They didn't give up. Commitment from the Mexican.
UAE Team Emirates, the consolation prize of the team competition that they take it with them, as well as second place in the white jersey. And you know what? You can't win everything all the time.
No, it was. I think they raced perfectly. It was not. I think it was more a question of legs of Del Toro over the last stage, Monte stage. So I think that's why the smiles on the faces, despite being coming home in second. And there's the standings. Fairly say by a large margin, they won over Bahrain Victorious in second, almost an hour behind them. So just to give you how this classification has ended, the best 3 riders of each stage count for the classification. And now we got the Tudor Maglia Rosa prize.
Yeah, special prize from the Giro d'Italia sponsors, chosen at their discretion. Tudor, who also sponsor a team, of course, have perhaps unsurprisingly chosen to award their gift and their special prize to the rider who turned the race on its head yesterday. It takes away a bespoke pink watch, actually. Special edition for the final day. And another bouquet. Simon.
Tudor prize for Simon Yates.
Yeah. Well, we're working our way through them. The next prize, the next award is chosen by the journalists at the Giro d'Italia.
And is the Bonacossa, I think that's the right way to spell it, prize.
Bonacossa award for the greatest single exploit of the Giro d'Italia. Journalists are a sentimental crowd, instinctively, and they like to go with the storyline. A comeback. That normally suits their narrative very well. So I wonder which rider they'll have chosen for their particular moment of the Giro d'Italia.
Very soon we will witness the prize for the Bonacossa. And this man, as you probably were guessing, Wout van Aert, I don't know which of the many athletic gestures he did in this very Giro d'Italia, but more than deserved. I think if I had to choose one day for Wout van Aert, is yesterday, to be honest. Even beyond like the personal comeback in Siena, I think yesterday was something unique. The way he climbed the Colle delle Finestre in order to stay clear ahead of Simon Yates, and then pull for the leader.
Wow.
As long as he can. It's a very good one.
It's quite a trophy, isn't it?
Osmar for Wout van Aert, winner of the Bonacossa of the Giro.
Walter, what a comeback it has been from Wout van Aert. He was never gone, was he? But by his own high standards, the spring has been very hard for Wout van Aert, and as well as his status as a national hero in Belgium, the public scrutiny, the scrutiny from the press, and it is the press that awards him this special prize at the Giro d'Italia. And I agree with you, Jacopo, for what it's worth as a member of the press. I think his performance yesterday just stands out even above the Siena stage victory.
Yeah, and especially not just the bits you've seen on the camera, but the thing you didn't see.
Yes.
Because he was quite off the front at the foot of the Colle delle Finestre, and I think he had to do an enormous performance in order to stay clear ahead of Simon Yates and being helpful on the flat.
Adam Yates, of course, already a father. His twin Simon is not yet a father. In fact, he's given birth to a rather large cycling trophy instead.
And he just said, look at my child.
He did.
But the child himself was not very pleased by the idea. And here's with the Tre Quarti Volanti, the Inter Giro, also called in the past classification. Dries de Bont today secures himself a nice aeroplane. And he was only a hand for this. He was probably not going to be the best friend of Mats Pedersen after the last stages where he was sneaking on the wheel of the Danish rider in order to pick up points available for this classment.
I think there was understanding and mutual respect there from Mats Pedersen and Dries de Bont. Perhaps not quite in the form that he was a couple of years ago when he took that famous stage victory into Treviso. But even if the legs weren't quite there from Dries de Bont, the spirit was willing, and he was attacking so often, Dries de Bont, and that is his reward for getting himself in breaks and picking up those that tally of points in the intermediate sprints that, in the end, was bigger than anybody else.
Exactly.
End of.
And this man, as winner of the Red Bull Kilometer, very, very generous ride by Tarozzi, rider from VF Group Bardiani. It's going to be a little bit longer than just one ceremony, the Italian. But he managed himself to win most of the time, or to get in the top three most of the time over the Red Bull Kilometer, a new entry in the Giro d'Italia. Still with the cycling shoes, just off the recovery ride after the Giro d'Italia.
Well, Emanuele Tarozzi of VF Group Bardiani has won multiple Red Bull kilometer sprints himself, each one worth €2,500. He's also finished top of the Red Bull kilometer classification as well, which earns him a really very handsome €15,000 to go with the prize money that he picked up at each of those individual Red Bull kilometers. So VF Group Bardiani owe him a favour or two, I think. He has significantly added to the money that the staff and the riders at the end of the year will be able to share out.
Well deserved for
very much so.
Tarozzi.
And he'll be back as well, won't he?
Yeah,
as you said.
Immediately for Premio Fuga. So the rider spent most of the kilometers ahead. So I think the two went together because basically he found himself always in the best position to score points on the kilometer, Red Bull kilometer, thanks to the presence in a lot of breakaway during this Giro d'Italia.
Well, this classification was still open today. I thought Alessandro Tonelli was going to, at one point, try and take it off him, but the script of the day didn't permit him from getting in the breakaway that day. And so he sat up. And at that point, Tarozzi knew that he had the largest winning total and that Tonelli wouldn't take this prize from him. And he wins the La Fuga competition for the most kilometers spent off the front of the race, bigger than any other rider in a qualifying breakaway group at this Giro. Not been the best Giro for VF Group Bardiani, but Tarozzi has definitely been their flag bearer.
Yeah, he's scored 2 times to be on the podium in Rome. So far they were not able to contest for the victory, but they were able to get 2 times on the podium with Tarozzi. And now we're gonna go with is most aggressive the correct word in English? Or the Premio Aggressività.
The most, well, it's a strange one. Cycling English is a strange version of English, and people tend to say the most combative, which is a very strange English word, actually.
Okay, it's more French.
It is more French, but a lot of words in cycling are French or Italian, aren't they? And in English, you just take the French or Italian words. The Fighting Spirit Prize, I think it's technically known, for the most votes and the most nominations and the most wins goes to Lorenzo Fortunato, quite rightly, who I think you said featured in 6 breakaways, is that right?
Yeah.
And many more attempts beside. And I think it's quite fitting as well that Lorenzo Fortunato has won the overall Fighting Spirit Prize, the most combative award.
So second time also for Fortunato on the podium after the ceremony for the best climber, still wearing the blue jersey. Another bouquet of flowers for the girlfriend. She's gonna have a lot of vases, I hope, at home, because every day she got gifted by one.
Right, I think we've either got one or two prizes still to go.
Now we got Carta Giovani, so the best Italian youngster. And obviously, 16 GC, right behind another Italian, but not as young as Pellizzari. This man, he rode a very, very good Giro d'Italia, very solid. And he found himself with a very solid 6th place, I have to say. It was something like you could not expect from him. Started as a domestic, found himself as a leader, just at 17th stage, I think. And he rode to perfection to move into 6th overall.
And who knows, we could be looking at the next Grand Tour winner. Wouldn't want to heap the pressure on him, but he's certainly got the credentials, and his career has made huge strides in the 12 months since the Monte Grappa stage to Bassano del Grappa last year, where he really announced his presence as a rider.